Welcome back to another adventure video where I investigate tip-offs sent to me by the community. Something is going on at Demonic Gorillas, and in fact when I filter my tip-off email for Demonic Gorilla, I get over 100 results in the last year. So I went to Demonic Gorillas to check it out. I need to tell you off the bat, it's pretty hard to differentiate bots from real accounts here. Just to even access this area, you have to have partially completed Monkey Madness 2. Now most of the tip-offs said these botters were in full void, with a whip and a blowpipe. And unfortunately, all of these accounts are probably hacked. They're all super high level, a lot of them over 2k total, and again I'm not 100% sure which of these accounts exactly are bots. One moderately effective test was to drop runite bolts on the ground and see what the account's reaction time was to picking them up. If a lot of these accounts are tick perfect as soon as 60 seconds is up and they can see the item, it's more evidence that they're bots, especially if they're perfectly in sync like that as well. One way to easily spot these bots is their prayers are basically reactive. As many of you know, Demonic Gorillas change attack styles as the fight goes on. These bots pray reactively to those attack styles, so every time the Demonic Gorilla changes attack style, the bots get hit through prayer. If a bot is protecting from magic and the Demonic Gorilla switches to melee, they have to be hit by the melee attack once before they change to protect from melee. So the bots get dealt a lot of damage. I literally found really suspect accounts with trimmed Slayer capes and Infernal capes. Like some of the highest level accounts in game are being used here. I'm so sure that these accounts are being hacked and botted for hundreds of millions of XP because we have pure evidence of that. For example, I received a tip-off that someone quit the game and like everyone does came back to it to discover their account had been banned from macroing. They recovered the account and found that they had gained about 180 million XP in range, attack, strength, defense, and hit points. And after seeing Demonic Gorilla drop placeholders in their bank, they checked the collection log and had obtained over 73,500 Demonic Gorilla kills. Multiple other people described similar stories in tip-offs to me. A player was even minding his own business there when about 20 bots swarmed the area and all kept trying to attack the same gorillas. We'll get into what Jagex actually told me about the bot farm right after this. This video is brought to you by Manscaped. There's a classic saying, feeling good starts with looking good, which is why you should consider Manscaped's products designed specifically for men. Manscaped actually sent me a collection of their latest products, so follow along and see what you like. So far, I really like the Performance Package 4.0. My favorite product in the kit is the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, which has advanced skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks and cuts on the most sensitive areas of your body. It's also cordless and waterproof. You can use it in the shower. There's even a travel lock feature. Just tap the front button 3 times to turn on or off the travel lock so it doesn't turn on in your luggage. For a limited time, when you buy the Performance Package 4.0 kit, you get 2 free gifts, the Shed Travel Bag and the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. So start this year off right and head to manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free international shipping plus 2 free gifts when you use promo code sirpugger20 at checkout. Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. I reported a few of these accounts to Jagex and told them what I suspected. The anti-cheating team told me they banned 55 of the accounts, and the accounts had an average total level of 1862. Demonic Gorillas are about 2.4 million GP per hour. Those 55 accounts would have been making 126 million GP per hour. 2.8 bill was removed from the bots themselves, and the mule was banned with max cash or 2.1 billion GP on it. So a total of 4.9 billion GP was removed. And speaking of mules and hacked accounts, I got another tip-off that I think plays into all of this. Someone who hadn't played Runescape for a while recently logged into an old account and saw that it had last logged in 7 hours ago. They found an arcane sigil and 50 million GP in their inventory. They checked the GE history and found something pretty incredible. Dozens of different sigils from Corp had been sold, as well as billions of GP worth of Zenite shards. We're talking hundreds of shards at one time being sold. There were even some raid items and some revenant items here and there. I don't know who could be selling Zenite shards in the hundreds other than a bot farm mule, especially on a hacked account like this. We also know there are lots of Corporal Beast bot farms using hacked accounts out there. I've already covered them. That would explain the sigils. My best guess is this is a bot farm mule for some of the highest level bot farms in the game. We're gonna pause the bot busting for a second because just a few minutes ago, someone sent me footage of themselves being scammed. It's a very sneaky scam that I've never seen before. The clip starts off near the end of the lure. The victim, who is recording their screen, trades Val for the win their expensive gear, which at market prices is 611 mil, for 615 mil. So Val for the win actually does give the victim 4 mil GP right here. A conversation that happened before the time of this recording would have been why Val wants to liquidate this guy's gear. Val is asking for this guy to buy a very specific item just to do him a favor, probably because of buy limits. And that item is mint cakes. The actively traded price of mint cakes is about 700,000 GP. That actively traded price is actually based off of the real-time wiki Grand Exchange data. You can see that using a well-respected and widely accepted Runelight plugin. But if you actually look at the Grand Exchange's own set value for the mint cakes, it's about 9,000 GP. After adjusting the right amount of quantity, our victim buys 723 mint cakes for 614 million GP. You might think that's crazy, why would anyone ever do that? But even right now, as we speak, the wiki has them as a pretty actively traded item with a daily volume of over 1,000 and the buy and sell price at 840k. And I even tried to buy one for 600k and couldn't. Okay, back to the scam footage. Our victim goes back to Val for the win to trade them over, and Val declines the trade saying, "Sec, let me get more GP from the GE." And our victim is getting suspicious automatically, goes over to the Grand Exchange, puts mint cakes in for 830k each, 20k less than he bought them for, and obviously they're not selling. And right after he does this, Val for the win says them mint cakes aren't actually worth that much. Val for the win then tries to recruit the victim, saying, "However, I'm offering you to join us and make a lot more. You can make that back in 1 or 2 sales large enough, we get 1.5 billion GP sales." Val then says what you do is spend a little bit more time being their friend. Sometimes for large targets, I even go bossing with them, then ask them to buy it, just be real friendly, talk for a few hours. And the scammer says, "I actually have many items, look up Rainbow." And once again, as you can see, the actively traded price is much higher than the actual price of the item. And then Val for the win puts insult to injury and asks if he can buy the mints back off the victim so he can reuse them again to scam someone else. Our victim says, "Okay, great, for 835k, and Val comes back with a nice offer of, "We can do above 8k each." So 100 times less than he bought them for. So if you don't get what's going on already, these guys select items that are almost never traded on the Grand Exchange, trade them back and forth between their own accounts to get the volume numbers up a lot, and at a ridiculously high price. They'll then befriend players, boss with them for a while, do whatever they need to do to gain their trust, and then they probably say they have some sort of collection of the item and want to buy more, but the GE limit is stopping them. The victim even said that Val for the win had 20,000 mint cakes that he showed him, so logically he could have maxed out the 10,000 buy limit. If someone asks you to do this ever, all you have to do is look at like the 30+ day price and volume data. And if it looks like this, it's clearly a scam. Assuming most of the volume in the last week was these guys scamming people, they've made over 6 bill just from the mint cakes in a week. And it looks like they've been scamming with rainbows for about a month now, and they've made another 5 to 8 billion GP off of it. In early January, the Ring of Endurance started plummeting in price, from about 47 mil down to 35 mil. In the last week, 2 different people have tipped me off to hallowed Sepulcher bots, which is how you get the Ring of Endurance. I went to check it out, and the laziest way to look for these bots isn't to actually do the agility course. If you just sit for 3 to 5 minutes in the entrance and wait, the bots will come out. At first I didn't know they were bots because I hadn't found a pattern yet, but I was finding accounts with a rune crossbow, full graceful, and a holy symbol. The first few I found only had about 75 agility, and other than that they only had base stats to do Sins of the Father, one of the master level quests of the game. It takes a while to find these bots, and I ended up finding 5 or 6 of them, all of the same gear, some with up to 102 agility, with basically identical stats. I'm guessing they're not hacked accounts because their stats line up exactly with the requirements for Sins of the Father. Whoever's using this bot farm either paid someone to create these accounts, or there's actually a bot script out there that does Sins of the Father quest. I talked to the bot busting plugin team, not affiliated with Jagex, but the Runelight plugin team, and using data analysis on the high scores, they were able to identify 66 other accounts. As you can see on screen, I didn't find them in game, but these accounts all match exactly the stat profile of these bots. There could definitely be more out there, but we know at least 66 of them exist, most of which have at least 102 agility. With that knowledge, we can calculate how much GP this bot farm generates per hour at full strength. Hallowed Sepulcher is over 2.5 million GP per hour. 2.5 mil times 66 bots is 165 million GP per hour from the bot farm. If they're running 10 hours a day and breaking for 14 hours a day, the bot farm makes 1.6 billion GP per day. They could be running more or less than that, I don't know. I decided to go bot busting on RuneScape 3, the original RuneScape. RuneScape. To be honest, I don't really care about RuneScape 3, but even though the game's changed, I'm kind of curious to see what kind of robots are in it. But my main RS3 account was hacked. I tried to recover it, that failed. I messaged JMods, they didn't respond. Luckily, I had an old melee PK I hopped onto. Last logged in 1600 days ago. And after gaining 400 total levels just by opening a few of the pay-to-earn keys that I got for free, I went to World 2 at the Grand Exchange to ask random people where the bots were. And I actually found a really nice guy who brought me to Dagannoth Kings. This is some OG content for a RuneScape 3 bot farm, but there were even 2 bots outside of the lair, dressed the same way. They had their private settings off, so I couldn't look them up in-game, but there's a pretty advanced high score system for RuneScape 3. This high score system's actually really cool. Okay, so this dude has 99 defense, 96 magic, 33 million total XP, with only 468 total level. And the account's only completed 1 quest, but you can actually see their event log. Literally what they've been up to timestamped like pretty frequently. I can see in the last 10 hours, he's received 4 Berserker rings and another 3 Warrior rings, a few Dragon hatchets, and the other account has 76 million XP with a similar total level. And this is pretty cool. You can even see their monthly XP rates. So it looks like they get about 21 million XP per month and have been since October of 2021. To be honest, I'm shocked that there are any bots on here. On the black market, RuneScape 3 gold goes for about 3.5 cents per mil. I guess if you're making over 10 mil an hour, that adds up. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you're at all interested in RuneScape 3 bot busting, and I'll do a full video about it.